Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. In the not-too-distant future with skyrocketing crime rates, the island of Manhattan's been turned into a maximum security prison surrounded by a 50-foot-high containment wall. All of the inmates are sentenced to life, and without any guards stationed inside the walls, they formed large gangs which govern themselves. Some places have streetlights after rigging up steam-powered generators, and the underground's controlled by a gang of night raiders called the Crazies. Liberty Island's the processing facility for the prisoners and the command center of the police force that guards the walls. The movie begins with two men attempting to escape the island in a makeshift raft when a helicopter flies overhead and blows them out of the water. It returns to the base on Liberty Island, where Police Commissioner Hauk and the security captain Rehme are alerted to Air Force One getting hijacked. The president's traveling to a summit with important information on nuclear fusion, but the National Liberation Front of America is looking to strike a blow against the oppressive police state. POTUS secures a tracking device to his wrist and puts himself inside an escape pod that deploys just before the anarchist crashes into a Manhattan skyscraper. Witnessing on the monitors from below, Hauk assembles a platoon of soldiers to travel to Manhattan and retrieve the president from the crash site. They arrive to find the pod empty as an emissary of the inmates named Romero approaches to reveal evidence that they've taken the president hostage. He threatens that he'll be killed if they don't leave the island, so Hauk orders his men to return to the helicopters and fly back to Liberty Island. When the vice president contacts the commissioner, he receives authorization to attempt a rescue and has brought to him the newly arrived prisoner Snake Plissken. A former Special Forces Lieutenant, Snake's facing a life sentence for robbing the Federal Reserve and gets offered a pardon should he rescue the president before the summit in 24 hours. Snake has no love for the United States but reluctantly agrees to the rescue before receiving an array of weapons and gadgets to pull off the mission. He receives multiple tracking devices, and Hauk has him injected in the neck with microscopic explosives as a way of ensuring that Snake doesn't try to run. To prevent delays, they can only be defused 15 minutes before they go off, so Snake promises to kill Hauk when he returns victorious. To get inside the city undetected, Snake flies a small glider to land atop the World Trade Center and almost goes off the other side before he stops. He maintains contact with Hauk on the radio as he locates the wreckage of Air Force One, but none of the other passengers made it out alive. He tracks the president's signal west through the city until it brings him to a rundown theater still used by the locals. It leads Snake into the underground, where the friendly inmate named Cabbie warns him not to enter as it's full of constant threats. Snake ignores him, and the first people that he comes across attempt to rob him, but Snake defeats them and continues searching for the president. He finds the tracker being worn by the victim of a beating, but it's just a drunk old man who found the bracelet after the kidnappers threw it away.
I'm the president.
Snake alerts command that the president's probably dead, but Hauk reminds him that his life's on the line if he doesn't find that POTUS. After wandering around the streets directionless, Snake decides to return to the escape pod to look around, but is almost ready to give up. He notices a strange man and follows him, but he's just the first of many crazies to emerge from their subterranean hideout and begin their hunt for food scraps. Snake seeks refuge in a diner called the Chock, full of nuts, where he comes across a young woman also hiding from the crazies. When he tells her about rescuing the president, she begs him to take her with him, but the crazies break through the floor and drag her under as they begin attacking the diner. They chase Snake through the building up to the next level and through walls, all leading to a back alley where he's rescued by Cabbie in his taxi. The old man tosses a Molotov cocktail down the alley and the pair escape, but Snake pulls a gun on him, demanding to know where the president is. Cabbie tells him that the leader of the gang, the Gypsies, and self-proclaimed Duke of the city, has him held prisoner, but he doesn't know where. To find his location, they travel to the public library, where they're greeted by a woman named Maggie and asked to meet with her boyfriend. He's Snake's former accomplice from his heist days on the outside named Howard, but he now goes by the pseudonym Brain. He's forced at gunpoint to tell Snake where the Duke's hideout's located, while Maggie looks like she'd do more damage than her boyfriend. Eventually, Brain agrees to take them to the gang's hideout while telling Snake that the Gypsies plan to escape across the landmine-covered bridge to the city using the president as a human shield. Before they reach the Cabbie, he up and drives away, as the Duke unexpectedly arrives with a convoy of henchmen for Brain's map of the bridge that tells them where the landmines are located. With the Duke's hideout on the other side of town, Snake steals a car from two of the henchmen and makes the couple take him. They drive along Broadway as a gang called the Skulls swarm the car for entering their territory, but Maggie's accuracy protects them. They eventually reach a roadblock, so Snake turns around to reverse into it, and the trio barely escape out the other end with their lives. They get to the Duke's headquarters located in the ruins of Grand Central Station, where Brain and Maggie act as a distraction so that Snake can sneak inside. He finds the president held in an abandoned railroad car and stealthily kills the two men guarding him. When they try to escape, the pair are swiftly recaptured as Brain has betrayed Snake to his boss and told Duke everything he knows about the intruder. Duke knocks him unconscious, figuring that they can use him as leverage later, and the next day Manhattan falls quiet on the government's radar as they suspect something's about to happen. The Duke orders Brain to retrieve the bridge diagram from the library. However, when they get there, Brain deduces that Snake must have landed a glider on the trade center and decides to steal it with Maggie. They return to the Duke's hideout where he's taking shots at the president before blowing open the case, allowing Romero to pocket the tape on fusion. Sometime later, Brain finds Romero wearing Cabbie's hat and gains access to the president by pretending to be searching for a cyanide capsule. He triple crosses them, stabbing Romero dead while Maggie shoots the rest of the guards in the room. The pair free the president and flee to the glider, hoping to escape the city with their valuable meal ticket, assuming that Snake's already dead. Meanwhile, the cycloptic survivor wakes up surrounded by Duke's men who've stripped him down and taken all of his gadgets. They force him to entertain a crowd by fighting a wrestler called Slag, and must have given up on the idea of keeping him alive because they're made to fight to the death. He's thrown around the ring a bit, but Snake eventually defeats his larger opponent by putting a spiked bat in the back of his skull. Just then the Duke learns that the president's escaped and furiously rounds up his gang to hunt him down, leaving Snake alone and unguarded. With less than 2 hours left until the device in his head explodes, Snake manages to reach the top of the trade center where Brain and Maggie are having a shootout with a gang called the Indians. They cut the glider's anchor and push it off the building, so the group retreat back inside, where Snake demands to know the location of the missing plans on fusion. Brain says he'll take him to it as long as he helps them escape, so the three go downstairs with the president but are ambushed by the Duke's men. It takes a single shot fired at their shoddy steam-powered device to allow Snake and the gang to escape, where they're picked up by Cabbie outside. He heads for the bridge while revealing that he has the fusion tape already, as he traded Romero for something else to listen to earlier. Snake takes it for insurance, and with less than 30 minutes left they race across the bridge following Brain's diagram of landmines. The Duke chases them in his Cadillac, but Brain makes a late call, so the cab hits a landmine, tearing it in half and killing Cabbie. The rest are forced to flee on foot, but Brain doesn't follow his own directions to stay to the right and is killed by another mine. Maggie refuses to leave him and remains behind to slow down Duke, and succeeds by forcing him to crash his car in order to kill her. He then continues after the president on foot while Snake and the president reach the containment wall to be evacuated by guards with a cable and harness. The Duke reaches them before Snake can escape, so he's forced to fight him off until the line's lowered back down. Snake attempts to escape but is almost killed by a rising Duke, who's shot dead by the president himself out of revenge for torturing him. Snake's then lifted out and Hauk meets him on the other side to deactivate the explosives implanted in his neck with seconds to spare. At Liberty Island, the recovering president's quickly made presentable for his televised speech while thanking Snake for saving him. When questioned about how he feels about the numerous people who died to save his life, the president doesn't seem to care, so Snake leaves disgusted. Hauk asks Snake if he's going to kill him now that it's over, but he says that he's too tired and asks the commissioner to call him Plissken. He does so and offers Snake another job working for the government, but he rejects it and leaves a free man. The president gives his speech at the summit about nuclear fusion, but when he presents the tape, it's been switched for the Cabbie's favorite song, Bandstand Boogie, which Snake had swapped out during their escape. He casually destroys the only thing that can save mankind from nuclear war and walks off smiling into the night. And the movie ends.